Back in the late 1960s and early 70s, low-budget filmmakers came up with a great gimmick for getting their films noticed. They would do something that the big studios couldn't do. They would push the amount of blood and gore in their films to the limit. Beginning with the legendary filmmaker Herschel Gordon Lewis, others followed. One such man was Brad F. Ginter, the man behind 1972's Blood Freak. Well, hello there, Old Man Kelly here, Jeff to my friends, and you can call me Jeff. I'm known as the Stream Hunter. I call myself that because I spend my time looking through streaming services, trying to find the strange and unusual, and today I think I found just a film. It's called Blood Freak from 1972. But before I get started, I wanted to point out that this was back in the day when a low-budget film looked like a low-budget film. I mean, these days somebody can produce a film with almost no money that is almost up to studio quality, but not back in the day. So being that's the way it was, independent filmmakers couldn't compete with Hollywood as far as quality, so they had to come up with different ways to attract an audience. So one thing they did was amp up the amount of sex and gore in their films. Blood Freak is about a man, an ex-Vietnam vet who gets involved with two sisters. One sister, Angel, believes in quoting the Bible and thinks her body is a temple. And the other one, Anne, is a fun-loving, drug-abusing party girl. Anne gets Herschel to try some drugs, and he ends up working for some turkey scientists who are experimenting on turkeys, and he eats one, and he becomes this huge turkey monster that goes around gruesomely killing people. I kid you not. Or does he? There might be a twist at the end. Now the film begins with a storyteller. This guy who pops up throughout the film to comment on what's happening. This commentator, who looks like he's coming down after a late night of partying, is played by the film's writer and director Brad F. Ginter. Apparently Brad was some sort of film teacher and many of the cast members were students of his, but the best part of his commentary was the fact that you can see him looking down to read the script constantly. Oh, and then there's the coughing fit at the end that for some reason he decided not to reshoot.
Let's give a little thought to making our own story have a happy ending.
Now this movie stars Steve Hawkes, who is credited as co-writer and co-director. He later called this film a sad chapter in his life. He would say that he took the film to help pay for medical bills following an accident on a previous film in which 90% of his body was burned. When the filmmakers of Blood Freak went bankrupt, he took it over, rewriting some of the scenes and finishing it himself to help recoup the costs. Before this, Steve played in a few Tarzan movies, but not much after. He would quit acting and start an animal sanctuary. In 2012, he was arrested and his animals were confiscated because allegedly he didn't have the right permits. He died on June 23, 2019 at the age of 77. And now the good and the bad. Oz's World Movie Reviews wrote, "Everything about this movie is Ed Wood bad, from the acting, the screenplay, and production values. It's so bad that it demands to be seen by those who call themselves weird film addicts, or those who just have a perverse need to see a film that's so unbelievable it must be seen to be believed." Joseph A. Zimba from Bleeding Skulls said, "Blood Freak is a trash film revelation, peerless, disturbing, and completely stupid. It's a glorification of all things crooked and perplexing in 70s exploitation films." So each review, I guess, in a way, were both good and bad, and that's the way I feel about it. I mean, this film fails on every level, yet I couldn't help but enjoy it. But I have a love for these trashy, low-budget 1970s film failures. Now, along with the acting and lighting, directing, and script problems, the Foley work is also atrocious. Check out the sound of this girl screaming in horror. It's as if they got one good scream and just played it over and over. Now, Blood Freak wasn't Brad F. Ginter's only claim to fame. In 1970, he released a film called Flesh Feast, in which starred the legendary Veronica Lake in what would be her last screen appearance. Now, Brad died in 1993 in Miami, Florida at the age of 71. Anyway, this film is on Amazon, but I must warn you, it's a bad transfer, or at least I think that's what's wrong with it. It's also on YouTube and archive.org if you want to see it. If you do me a favor, let me know what you think of it below, and do all the usual YouTube stuff, right? Comment, subscribe, like, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'd really appreciate it. This is Jeff Kelly, aka The Stream Hunter. I want to thank you for watching. I'll be back soon with another film to talk about. So, see what I can find out there. Bye-bye.